Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to this week's webinar from the team at Annika Digital. It's myself, Anne Stanley. I'm founder and CTO, and I'm very pleased to have Emil with us. Hello, Emil.
Afternoon, everyone.
Emil's going to be talking about essential meta ads updates, and he's got a slide where he speaks a little bit more about himself in a minute. But I'll get going by giving a bit of housekeeping and also doing the poll. So first of all, we are recording this, so you will get recording later on this evening. There is handouts for you to download top right, so you can go and claim those. Also, please ask questions in the chat. I may not be able to answer the questions, but Rachel's here. She works with Emil in the paid social team, and she'll be able to probably answer the questions, hopefully between the two of us. There will be questions at the end as well. And also, if you look top right of where the slides are, there's a little arrow that says full. If you hit that, you'll get the full screen. While Emil's presenting, he won't be able to see the chat. So we'll sort of handle the chat and we'll have a Q&A at the end. So let's do the poll first. It's a very, very simple one. So basically, how are you using Meta for your business? Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, etc. I'm not really using Meta for my business at the moment. I only create organic posts. I run Meta ads myself. That could be Facebook or Instagram. I work in a team that run Meta ads in-house, and we have an agency or a freelancer that runs our Meta ads. So we're just trying to understand whether you're doing it yourself, whether you've got somebody else, what's your responsibility level. We didn't have quite enough time to ask you about how advanced you are, but that will give you a good idea of what everybody is doing. So we'll wait for a few more people to fill in the questionnaire. We use this time as well for people to catch up because obviously some meetings overrun. So if you've just arrived, we are recording and we're just about getting going. So we've got 18%, so just under 20% only create organic posts. So we're not going to explain too much about how ads work today, but taking that into consideration, Emil will sort of, mention things like ad sets and campaigns. And there is lots of workshops on our website that you can get if you want to understand more basic principles of Meta. But you should be able to keep up. It's nice. It's not a difficult subject today. 30% are running ads themselves, Meta ads themselves. 33% are in a team that run Meta ads in-house, and about 20% have an agency or a freelancer that runs Meta ads. So I guess it's a good way of understanding if they're doing the most recent stuff. So I think that's everything. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to stay online for the first few minutes. I'll turn my camera off, make sure that Emil's okay, and I'm going to pass over to you, Emil.
Yeah, sure. I'll get cracking. I'll probably turn mine off as well so you can get full screen.
I think they like it if you've got your camera on, so because I can see you talking rather than seeing a screen. So if you can keep we've had some feedback that they like it when they can see you talking. It feels more personal. Yeah, there you are.
If I must. Yeah, so a bit about me first. I'm a social media strategist there at Annika. Been here for about 5 years now. Worked in marketing for 10 plus years, including PR, organic social. Now it's all paid social. I'm involved with all the stages of the social media experience here with Annika, from the pitching stage all the way through to delivery, reporting, and applying the strategy that we come up with. I specialize in Meta ads, followed in second by LinkedIn probably, but then also have experience on Pinterest and TikTok with ads there. As the picture tells you, I'm known far and wide for being a long-suffering Arsenal fan until last week. So I'll just take all the congratulations in advance because I know you're dying. I think Aaron might be on this call, my ex-colleague. He's dying to congratulate me. Bit about Annika. I don't know if you want to take this slide, Anne, since you have experience going through it over and over again.
Okay, so just waiting for my mic to come on. So Annika celebrated its 19 years anniversary back in February. And we've always considered ourselves a very data-driven digital marketing agencies for e-commerce and established brands. We're definitely moving more into being an AI-powered agency as we start to integrate more AI into everything that we do. We focus on 5 things. So strategy, social media, search marketing, shopping, and skills. And we've added all these different combinations of things in because we do quite a lot of training. A lot of people know us because we've trained over 1,000 people. Believe it or not, somebody that was on our DMI course was in the Volvo shop today where I was waiting for the service and recognized me, which was very strange. So we get recognized all over the place because we train so many people around the East Midlands and also Norfolk and Suffolk. Shopping is because of all the e-commerce stuff we do. And today we're focusing on social. So I think that's a good introduction. Is there a second slide on this, or is that the...
No, that's it.
Okay, thank you.
So yeah, just a pre-warning about some of the updates in here, just so you don't get confused when you go away and start looking for where to find them. Some of these are only available to some people. Some of them might be features that they're testing on some accounts. Some they might have launched in the US, but not in the UK. Some they might have launched on bigger accounts, but not the smaller accounts yet. So yeah, if you do come across any of the updates within this presentation that you can't find when you go into the account, that might be the reason why. And then, yeah, as I mentioned, this is update. So this is mainly going to be useful for people that have experience using the ads manager, because these are new things that have popped up without any warning. Meta loves just randomly adding things without telling anyone. So this is just scouring all the ads manager over time and taking note of the new little features and looking at other experts, what they're saying, and things that they've noticed that we haven't. First of all, we got targeting updates. This is a very recent one that I couldn't even apply last week, but I can apply it this week. So this should be available to most of you. But essentially, Meta, they've increased their audience retention to 730 days for purchases. So we used to be 180. Now it's up to 730. What that means for you is there are different things you can do with that data, depending on the type of business you are. First of all, that gives, if you increase the window of purchases from 180 to 730, all of a sudden you have a hell of a lot more data. So even though lookalikes are kind of on the way down, it will still increase the data that you give to a lookalike audience massively. Other things you could do with that is, say, for example, you run a business where, say, for example, the lifetime of your product is 1 to 2 years. Now, all of a sudden, you can retarget those people after 2 years with the replacement. So it works perfect in those kind of cases. I think that's going to be really useful. You might have things where people might want to add on to a product that they already purchased after a couple of years. So yeah, there's quite a lot of different things you can do with it. It also helps just collecting it for Meta and telling Meta these are our purchases. It gives them more data so that they can identify similar people in the future.
So a good example was if you have a flower shop and you sell flowers 1 year and you wanted to track those people and resell them the year later, with 180 days, you weren't able to do that, were you? Whereas now you would be able to. Yeah,
again, that's a very good point. You could try, for example, you could create 2 audiences. So you could do 365 days minus, and then you could create another one that's 330 days. And then you could say, we want to target the people that purchase within 365 days, but excludes 730 days. So then you all of a sudden have that right window for it.
Yeah, yeah. And just explain lookalikes, because there were about 20% of newbies, how that would be really helpful.
Yeah, lookalikes is essentially you provide Meta with a source, like, for example, purchasers, people that have purchased, and you tell them to look for similar people. So you can say you want a 1%, the top 1% similar people to them. You can increase that to anything up to 10%. So I think it might be higher now, 12% possibly.
Thank you.
There are new retargeting filters now. I couldn't find a screenshot, so I had to steal that from one of the social media experts on LinkedIn. But what you can do now is, on some accounts, you can set a filter when you're retargeting, and say when you're retargeting people that have engaged, for example, you can say I want to target people that have engaged minimum 2 times. So in the past you could just do people that have engaged, but now you can set limits to, so you can say 2 times within the last year, for example. So you can increase the quality. When it comes to engaging with a post, people can sometimes accidentally engage, whereas if someone has engaged 3 times, it's unlikely that it's going to be accidental engagement at that point. Applies to a number of different audiences. People have engaged with Facebook and Instagram accounts, visited the accounts, engaged with any posts, clicked on any call to action, or people that have saved any post or ads. So they're different types of primary retargeting options that you can select, and then you can have the minimum 2 times within the last year, for example. Target by description is something that was going around, and a lot of people were talking about it a few months ago. I'm not sure if they made a U-turn on this. At one point I had it for one account. All the others didn't have it. I'm not even sure if it's in that account, because I tried it and it didn't work very well. So again, that's why, I mean, I might talk about it here, you might go and try and find it and it's not there. But essentially what they introduced is that you can describe your audience in words, and then they will find the audience based on that. So you go, instead of manually finding interests, you write a sentence. So in this case, people who are interested in traveling and doing things in London, United Kingdom, just to make sure that they understand exactly what London, especially people who like sightseeing, tours, attractions, and days out. So you're adding in keywords within those sentences, so it's more conversational, and then you let Meta find relevant people based on what you've given them there. Some of you might have this in your accounts, others might not. But yeah, I thought it was a bit strange how there was a big wave of people talking about it, and then all of a sudden that died down. So yeah, we'll see if that continues or not. Meta Andromeda is a big topic, and the things that I cover are just a handful picked from it. But I think the most important news coming from all experts is that creative is now the new targeting. So that could be a reason why the targeting by description has been potentially removed, because the new algorithm now uses your creative to target new users. Essentially, the algorithm reads what's inside your ads. So any text overlays, any keywords, if you've got voiceover, it analyzes the speech, all the angles that you have within your videos, what you might be focusing on, relevant visuals within there. So for example, if if you have a video of someone reading a book and then in the text it talks about children's books and the voice talks specifically about it might be a specific book series, then the algorithm essentially takes all that data and finds people they believe are interested in that. What this means is that creative is as important as it's ever been on Meta. If you don't have the ability to provide creative, if you don't have a creative department and you don't have the budget to invest in creative, then running ads is going to become less and less valuable for you. Meta essentially encourages you to have multiple different creatives on at any given point with completely different angles. They don't just say, oh yeah, run exactly the same ads in blue instead of red. That is wasted money these days. That doesn't make any difference. Changing the wording slightly, again, small tweaks are not recommended anymore. They want greater diversity with new angles. They talk about things like try to target people based on, first of all, the type of people they might be, then have another ad that targets the problem that they might be wanting to solve. So they all of a sudden you have two different angles for the same person, but it gives Meta the flexibility to find people based on the two. Whereas if you were just running one, they might not be identifying a big piece of the puzzle. So yeah, add things like keywords that you think the algorithm will easily connect with your users within your creative as well. Another one that I saw that is brand new and we can even find it is something called real trending topics. Within reserved audiences, it seems like you can or will be able to target people based on trending topics within Reels. So you can either select all trending Reels, or you can do it by topic. So essentially, you reserve an audience, and your ad will be served alongside one of these trending Reels. If you find that one of the topics matches extremely well with your brand, then it's obviously worth selecting the brand, because then you'll be shown alongside trending Reels that are directly related to your brand. So there are, according to Meta, there are 5 overarching topics that you can select from. Because it's not available in any of my accounts, I'm not able to go in and click and see if there's a secondary layer within them. But yeah, so you have beauty and fashion, animals and pets, sports, food and drink, cars and transport. I've added the link in there as well, so that when you get the handout, you can go in and actually have a look at all of the information. Ad sequencing is another new one, relatively new anyway. Essentially, you can now sequence your ads in order of how you want them to be shown. So, for example, you can select that people can only see ad number 2 once they've watched ad number 1, and they can only see ad number 3 once they've seen ad number 2. That's obviously a great way of telling a story bit by bit. So instead of having a long video where you're unlikely to grab people's attention for the period of time, say, for example, it's a 1.5 minute video, you might split that into 30-second videos or even shorter, and then just sequence them so that people see them in the right order. So yeah, that's going to be a useful one. In the past, you could do it in a much more complicated way. Now, this streamlines that. Attribution and tracking. There's been a change in click attribution. That means any conversion that is attributed to your ad that comes from a click on an ad. What Meta have done since the start of April, I believe, is that clicks are now defined only as link clicks on the ads. And then they've changed the category that used to be called engaged view to engaged through, which now includes the other clicks that used to be included within the old click attribution. So those kinds of clicks are, say, for example, someone sees your ad and likes it, or someone saves it, someone comments, someone even opens a comment section, they share it. It also includes people that have looked at it for a minimum of 5 seconds, I think it is. So now, a lot of people, if you were monitoring the success of your ads on the 7-day click window, you've probably seen a drop because a bunch of them have now moved on. Those conversions have now moved to engage through. So what I recommend is monitoring both click through and engage through now. So essentially, this is how it looks. You can see the categories here now. Click through, only link clicks. And then you've got multiple categories within engage through. And then view through is impression. I'm a little bit on the fence in terms of whether I like that change or not, because I don't think engaged view, which is essentially someone's viewed your ad for a few seconds, I don't think that is anywhere near as much of a sign of intent as someone who saved an ad. If someone saved an ad, there's a highly likely chance that they're considering buying or converting in the future. If someone simply sat there and the ad was on their screen for a few seconds, that's a completely different story. So I would have had engaged view in view through. The others, fair enough, if they kept what I would refer to as real engagement, then it would have made more sense to me. Another new tracking update is that you can now connect GA4 within Meta Ads Manager to shoot more data back and forth between GA4 and Meta. You do that on the ad level. So when you're setting up your account, you only have to do it once. So at the bottom where you add in your URL parameters, you now have this box where you can where it just says third-party reporting tools. You click connect, you go into GA4 and find your measurement ID, add in that ID, save tags, and that's it. It's extremely simple. Why is this important? It's all about the data. In the words of experts, Andromeda's AI is incredibly data hungry. So by connecting GA4 with Meta, you're supplying a whole new stream of data that Meta can learn from. So it's going to improve accuracy, and it's most likely going to improve Meta's ability to identify new customers as well. Meta AI, something that was going viral on LinkedIn not long ago, just a few months ago. There were so many people talking about how their accounts had been disabled. Essentially, Meta was flagging, I think people were connecting Claude and other AI platforms, and it was the speed of the data was triggering the APIs to the point that it was flagged as suspicious data or suspicious activity, and essentially accounts were disabled. We're talking about companies that had advertised on Meta for decades, that had spent hundreds of thousands, millions, and they were still getting disabled. However, they have worked on that now, and there's now something called Meta Ads AI connector. Essentially, the connectors allow you to connect your AI to Meta, so you can essentially streamline a bunch of things like reporting, campaign management. You can give a lot more information to the platform, and you can analyze it and evaluate it in a much more effective way. This is brand new again, so it's not something that we've applied to a great extent, but I think it's something that Anne is going to be absolutely buzzing about. She probably knows more about the capabilities of this than I do, because I've not dived into it, seeing as it's so new. But I don't know if you have any additional information on it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just asking some of these questions. Some of like Sanjeet was asking about the difference between this and the Pixel. No, they're completely different. I'll let Emil explain a little bit more what the role of the Pixel is. This is acting like a connector. So in the same way that if I was using a product like Looker Studio, which is a connector, which is a reporting platform. I think they've gone back to calling it Data Studio. And I need to pull in my Google Ads data, my Search Console data, my metadata and stuff like that. That allows me to bring that data in. So that's what we mean by a connector. But what we want to do now is not connect it into a reporting platform. We want to bring the data into one of our, these are called LLMs, large language models, so our AI, whether that's ChatGPT, Claude, or Perplexity. Now, these within them have got the facility to add connectors. It could be your Drive, it could be your email, it could be analytics, etc. So this is just joining that club of allowing you to pull data. So, for example, we've already done that with lots of other platforms, whether it's Google Ads or Search Console or whatever. And we can produce some beautiful reports, and we can interrogate that data and do some analysis and understand it. Now, at the moment, I'm not sure whether the connector is one direction or two direction. I don't know whether you've read anything about that, Emil, whether it's a two-way direction of information. Based on the fact that they were shutting accounts down a few weeks ago, I suspect it might only be pulling the data out. And the only other thing I'm not sure about is you've got to set it up. I'm not sure whether you can just set it up from within Claude or whether you've got to set it up at the Meta end. So that's the only other bit that I'm not sure about yet, but I haven't had a chance to read the paperwork.
I think this is in response to the accounts getting disabled. So it's solving the issue, essentially, that people were coming across, because it was months ago when the accounts were getting disabled. And then since then, they seem to have worked on a way of connecting it without the issues where it got flagged for suspicious activity.
Right. Yes, because when an API or when an AI goes and tries to grab data, it might be scraping it or doing all sorts of other things. It's acting like just the same as a bot would do, and bots are often malicious in intent. So, for example, I can go and get my AI to go and scrape a load of websites and bring the content back. It might be a blog. So I've got 25 websites I scrape every week to try and find out what's happening. But if I go and send it over to ChatGPT to try and find out what happens when I put in, oh, what do you know about Charles Bentley, or what do you know about Next Retail? It will be blocked immediately because it would be regarded as malicious bot activity. So I think the reason why the accounts were being blocked was because of that. And this is they've almost had to admit, okay, well, we're going to have to give them an official way of communicating with us, rather than doing it in a way that we can't tell the difference if it's a spammy attack or a malicious attack, or whether it's somebody genuinely trying to get the information about their account or competitors' accounts. So I think that's what's happening. To be honest, it's next on our list to get connected. So within a couple of weeks, we will know the answer to the question of how to do it.
Yeah, and you can tell by how they've created this allowed list that is very limited at the moment, and they only just recently added Perplexity to that list. So
Yeah.
you can tell it's new, and they're just trying to be cautious with it.
So for the people that don't understand, can you just explain what the pixel's responsible for, because we've got a little bit of time? So
yeah, the pixel that's the tracking pixel, which is kind of like the basic level of tracking between your website and the platform, where you track events like adds to cart and views, product views, page views, all that kind of stuff. Whereas this is a completely different story.
Yeah. Thank you, Emil.
I also came across, this is not really on the ad side of things, but it's just another update that I added into in the general update category, but yeah, you can now switch to incognito chat with Meta AI, which is, they probably identify that a lot of people are skeptical when it comes to sharing questions and stuff on AI. So incognito mode is essentially just to try to firefight the conspiracy theorists and those kinds of people. Other updates. This is just a random mix of little updates that I've come across. You can test new creative features now. That's something that Meta switches on. So essentially, it will just, when something new comes in, they don't announce that this new thing is happening, you can essentially decide to have that on, and Meta will just test this stuff within your ads and try to improve performance based on these new things. So the next slide is essentially showing you how to turn it off, because Meta often introduce features that really are not great. It could be adding automated music that doesn't match your ad at all. It could be text overlays that look terrible. It could be adding backgrounds to catalog ads that make the product images look horrific. So yeah, I would rather have it off, and then when I see them, turn them on if they do look like they could be useful. So yeah,
that's interesting, because that's very similar to the same situation in Google Ads. Google Ads has this auto suggest functionality and does all these sorts of things, and if you haven't turned it off, it's quite scary what sometimes it will do. So I was going to ask you exactly the same thing as you've just explained, that basically you recommend turning it off and testing it rather than just letting it do its own thing.
Yeah, so essentially to do that, you go to advertising settings, and then under creating ads, you click on that one, and then you just untick the box. Because sometimes it does things that don't even make sense. It will adds loads of previous ads automatically to the new ad that you've just set up. So I say, for example, I'm just launching a summer sale video. Meta, without telling you, will just say, oh yeah, we've just added all these 5 other ads. Those 5 ads are the winter sale, the spring sale, and the Easter sale, which obviously doesn't match with the summer sale. The offers are not relevant anymore. The campaign's not relevant, but they've just added it automatically. So it's to prevent those kinds of what looks like your blunder, but it's Meta just throwing a stick into your wheel. Audio translation is something I'm seeing a lot, or experiencing a lot now. You can turn that on and off within your ads now. I have had it in my organic feeds, and to be fair, it's pretty good. It mimics the tone of the person, and the translations are pretty good. But for example, I speak Portuguese, and I have a Brazilian friend that I talk to a lot on Meta. So, and I share Portuguese Brazilian content with him. So then Meta all of a sudden started translating English videos to Portuguese. But then I know these people are English, and I know of them. And I was the first time I saw one, because it was exactly the same tone of voice. It sounded exactly like the person. I was like, oh, I didn't know he spoke Portuguese. And then after a few seconds, I was like, hang on, what's going on there? This is definitely this is the audio translation that I saw within Ads Manager. Again, it's just one of those things to look out for, because Meta can just turn that on automatically. The texts, you have text as well. Tend to keep the text on for my ads. Video, I just keep it in the original language. But it can be really useful if you want to branch out into new territories, but you never had the capacity to create videos and voiceovers in different languages. Meta will now do it, and yeah, like I said, it sounds very good.
Is it free? Because obviously you can go to something like 11 Labs and do this.
No, it's free. It's just Meta AI does it for you.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's very good. Available languages at the moment are the following. And obviously it says all translations may be inaccurate. That is the risk that you run with it, but I think for the most part, it will be pretty much what the original says. There's a new grouping feature within Ads Manager. Some accounts have it, some accounts don't. So essentially, you can group your ads you can group them by objective, bid strategy, or delivery. So for example, you can have all of the ads that are all of your sales ads, they can be grouped together. All of your awareness ads can be grouped together. Quite useful if you want to see how like-for-like ads are performing against each other, or campaigns even. Video generation, again, very new, something I came across, or it might have been there for a little while, but it's the first time I've actually considered using it. Essentially, you upload single images, and Meta will now create video ads from the single image or images that you add. And to be honest, I thought it was pretty good. I'm extremely critical when it comes to the AI creations that Meta especially come up with. I think they're early adopters of things like image generation through AI. And at the start, it normally looks pretty bad, but with time, they keep on improving these features. So just because it was bad the first time you tried it, I recommend revisiting every few months, because they keep on improving. Everyone knows that the speed of improvement when it comes to all the AI platforms, the pace is incredible. And what didn't work a month ago all of a sudden works amazingly the next month. And it's the same with these features within the platform.
I can just confirm Emil is incredibly cynical about video up until now. So this is the most positive I've heard you about them. But they are you're absolutely right. Has anybody seen the Spaghetti? Who's the black actor who was the Prince of Bel-Air, or what his name was? And in
Will Smith.
Yeah, Will Smith. He's been doing this video AI generation of him eating spaghetti over the last 2 years, and it now looks almost like a cinematic film. Just to show, if you should look it up on Google, it's quite interesting to see it, or YouTube, to see the evolution. But
yeah, I've seen it, but then you got to remember as well that when you do it within the platform, it's not even going out. I expect more from doing it within platforms like Nano Banana and stuff like that. But within Meta, usually it's quite basic, especially to start off with.
yeah,
But yeah, it wasn't too bad when I did it this time. So yeah, it's getting there. And yeah, that's obviously going to help. Like I mentioned about creative being your new targeting, and you don't have the capacity within your organization to come up with a lot of creative. At least there's like at the end of the tunnel that Meta will be able to create a variety of different variations. As long as you can provide it with at least one, then it might be able to come up with suitable additions. This is another update that is upcoming. I don't think this has happened yet, but you in the future you'll be able to select your placement at ad level. At the moment, it's at ad set level, so you essentially say all of the ads within this ad set, I want them to be shown only on Facebook, only on Instagram, only in the feeds. I don't want it to be shown on stories, that kind of thing. Now you'll be able to do that at ad level, which allows you to be a bit more selective. And it helps because sometimes you have ads that are really suitable for reels, the reel placements, for example, and you don't want them to be shown in the feeds, or vice versa. If you have a single image ad that's a square, it's probably not going to look very good within the reels. But at the moment, you need to create separate ad sets to separate that out. In the future, it seems like you'll be able to keep it all within the same ad set and then just do it on the ad level. And I think this is the last update. No. This is the latest one that I added to the deck. This was added this morning. Apparently, they are discontinuing follower ads. So in the past, you could run ads with an objective of generating more followers. That was the end goal. And results were based on how many new followers you got. Now that's going away, and you can only optimize for people to visit your Instagram and Facebook profile. Big loss for new accounts, because I've been in a situation where I've had clients that are new on the platforms. Their follower counts are really low, and they're really struggling to give that trust and authority through their social media accounts. If you go on a social media account and there are 23 followers, it's not giving you that trust that you want to have in a business, that they're legitimate. So those follower ads have really helped small businesses in the past. You might still get the follows through maximizing visits to the profiles. It's just not optimizing for that goal anymore.
And can you do it is it not available in Facebook and Instagram, or is it available in one and not the other?
No, this is in Ads Manager.
So it's both.
For both, yeah. And the last one is actually not a recent update at all, but it's one that people are still not aware of, and that is that 4 5 dimensions are now the ultimate feeds dimensions on Meta and Facebook. For many years it was 1 1, so a square, but now it's increased slightly to 4 5. You might say that difference is so marginal, so who cares? But you got to remember how competitive the industry is, the social media advertising industry. There are so many people competing for attention on there. So if you can increase the screen space that you take, even by a margin that small, those marginal gains can make a huge difference. So definitely worth doing it. Catalog ads have also increased to 4.5 now, so they were always square. One of the impacts that has had is on ad frames, which is essentially when you add a PNG on top of the catalog ads, because they are added in square format, but now the ads are 4.5, so all of a sudden you have space above and below, so it doesn't look as good anymore.
So will the frames functionality or third-party companies, because we obviously use a third-party company to do ours?
No, they're not frames.
Oh, okay. So
that's a different thing.
So can you just explain what I mean? And because I'm not explaining it very well, and also will they be adapted to this new format?
Yeah, so the frames are just PNG, so you upload manually in the platform. So that's the step before. When it comes to having catalog templates, the platforms have already adapted to that. They already have applied it within their platform. So they're parallel to the curve, basically.
So these happen automatically, or is it a choice that you make? So if you've already got frames set up with a square, do you carry on using that but don't get the advantage of the 4.5 structure, or is it a bit
just adds the square but still has a 4.5?
Okay.
So you basically just get space above and below.
Okay.
So it doesn't look as good. So you just have to reevaluate the design of the frame as essentially the key to it.
Okay. That makes sense.
So yeah, just worth noting if you have had frames. In addition, you should be running ads with 9:16 dimensions to match the reels and stories. So don't just go for a 4.5, have a 4.5 and a 9:16. That way you're optimized for both. And I believe that is it.
Excellent. So we sort of answered, there's not huge numbers of questions, but if anybody's got one, we had congratulations from Rachel, who's a Cov fan, evidently. Of course, Cov is celebrating as well, whereas Leicester are crying in their soup after a second relegation. But no more questions in the chat. I'm just going to quickly put up, if you liked what you heard from Emil, it would be lovely if you could just leave him a review. That would be great. Thank you if you can. And if any of you are interested in the Thursday AI Club, I'm just going to put something on there. This is the fortnightly membership that we do. Also, I'm on the road quite a lot. So if any of you live in Leicestershire, Derbyshire, I'm speaking at several events over the next couple of months. So if you want to come and meet us, I think we're in DMU. We've got an AI summit week after next. The week after that, we've got East Midlands Tech Week. Go and check that out. We've got two things going on that week. And then later on in the month, the 51% Club, which is a women's networking. I'm doing a workshop for them. That's in Leicester as well. So lots of things happening in person. I'm not sure what the next talk is. Haven't got that here. I just see if I've got a something on the Thursday AI Club. I think I've got. Yeah, it's just a generic. If you click on this, then you can. Yeah, it's £40, no VAT, so it's actually cheap. I need to edit that, so it's actually a little bit cheaper. And then we can send you some information. Cool, brilliant. Well, thank you, Emil. I don't think we've got any other questions. We finished a little bit early, so thanks for everybody. And if you're joining the Thursday Club, I'll see you next week. If not, we'll see you in 2 weeks' time. Thank you. Bye-bye. Thanks, Emil.